In this video, you'll learn how to enter time, submit it, recall it for additional changes, and then resubmit it. So let's get started. The first thing you want to do is sign in with your username and password. Click Sign On, and it'll bring up your dashboard. The employee dashboard represents what instance you're logged into, the version number, and today's date. This is helpful if you ever have questions or need to debug something. The other widgets, each one of these is called a tile widget. They represent my time entered yesterday, today, last week, this week, and any expenses that you've entered. For purposes of this video, you'll notice that you've already entered time for last week, so you're ready to enter time for this week. There are two ways to load the time sheet screen itself. You can click on the My Time This Week widget, and it will load the timesheet. Or you can click on the 3-bar menu and choose Time Landscape, and that will load the same screen. So once you have the screen loaded, you're ready to enter projects. Click on the plus sign, and then you can either search by typing in the search screen. You can search and get the drop-down of which projects you have available, or you can select from the drop-down menu itself. Once you've selected a project, you can then proceed to select the task. Again, you can either select the task from the list that displays, or you can enter the task that you're searching for in the search box there. We're going to pick design. The customer, labor class, and pay category are going to default. If you need to change any one of those, you can change it by either selecting from the drop-down, that's clicking on this little button, or typing in the search, and that will bring up the options available to you. Once you are satisfied that you have the project and task information selected for the project you worked on, go ahead and say Save. That's going to put a detail line on your timesheet for that project. Let's go ahead and do that one more time. We're going to add. Now we're going to add another project, so I'll select the design machine. I'm going to change the task to be general task. I'm going to leave the labor category and pay category alone. Click Save. Now I have time on there for 2. Now, before we enter time, I want to show you, if you wanted to see, maybe you wanted to refer back to a timesheet from a previous week, you could go to a specific timesheet by clicking on the calendar icon, entering a specific day of a week, any day, and it's intelligent enough to know what week ending that goes to, and then you could look for a timesheet for that week. You'll notice that it brought up the week of September 2nd to 8th, and there was no time entered for that week. If you want to get back to the current week, click on the 3 buttons here, and you can navigate to the current week. Once you're at the current week, you can always navigate to a previous week, so you can see where the 40 hours from last week was entered. You can also navigate to more previous weeks, go back to the current. You can navigate forward in case there's a scenario where you need to look at something from a week in the future. But now we're in the timesheet when we're ready to enter our time. So what we want to do, we worked 8 hours on Monday. Our time was split between Project 1 and Project 2. So we're going to click in the cell for Monday on Project 1, and we're going to put in 3 hours of work, and we're going to put a comment. Now the comment should represent what that 3 hours was spent on. So we'll just say reviewed, if I can type, reviewed final design document with customer. And then when you're satisfied with your time, hours, and comment, click OK, and now you'll see that your hours appear there. The other 5 hours was spent on Project 2, so we clicked on that cell. We're going to enter the hours, and we're just going to have a note that it was a discussion with customer about next steps. When we're happy with that, we say OK. Now we know that the rest of the week we spent 8 hours on Project 1. So I'm just going to click on the cell, enter 8 hours, click OK. Click on the cell for Wednesday, enter 8 hours, click OK. Same thing for Thursday and Friday. Now at this point, I think I'm happy with my timesheet, and I can confirm that I'm happy. I can see that I have 8 hours for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, totaling 40 hours. My project lines total 40 hours, and I'm expected to work 40 hours. So at this point, I'm ready to submit my timesheet. To submit your timesheet, click on the Submit icon. It's the Submit Time for Approval. It'll bring up a message and click OK. At this point, you'll notice that in the lower left-hand corner of the screen, the status of the timesheet has now changed to Submitted. That means that this timesheet is now ready for the project manager to go in and approve the hours that you've worked. But wait, we just realized that now that we've submitted it, Tuesday, my time was spent pretty much like it was on Monday. So I really need to split my 8 hours on Tuesday, 4 for project 1 and 4 for project 2. The project manager has not approved this yet, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to recall it so that I can edit it. To recall a timesheet, click the Recall Time from Approval icon and say OK. You want to give it a reason, and I'm just going to say need to adjust time for Tuesday. Go ahead and say OK. Now, the submitted status has been removed, meaning it's pending your additional changes. To make those changes, click on the Tuesday cell for project 1 and change your hours to 4. And then click on Tuesday hours for project 2 and change those hours to 4. Now, one thing I want to point out here is there's an easy way to tell whether your time has been commented or not, whether you've entered a comment or it's left blank. If you see this little green triangle in the right-hand corner of the time cell, when that little green triangle appears, that means that a comment exists, and we can confirm that by clicking on the cell and reading the comment. Likewise, our day on Tuesday did not have a green triangle on it, and therefore there's no comment. So at this point, we'll just say OK. Again, we'll check 8 hours for each day, adding up to 40 hours. The projects total 40 hours. So now I'm assured myself that I've entered all of my time again for this week. I've double checked the days, and now I'm ready to resubmit it. To resubmit the timesheet, I'm going to click on the Submit Time for Approval, say OK, and again we'll notice that the status in the lower left-hand corner of the screen has changed to Submitted. This timesheet has now been resubmitted to the project manager for them to go in and approve it. That's all it takes to enter time, submit it, recall it to make changes, and resubmit it.